What's up? What's up?
Well, we got the wrong sides. There we go.
There
That's
we go.
much better.
There we go.
Reached equilibrium.
I'm not exactly sure, but something's different, bro. What's different?
Dude, I showered today. So like I smell good. First time I've showered in 3 months.
Well, I can't smell you through the internet. So what else is different? Something's different.
Well, I may or may not have gotten my new camera. And I got the green screen set up. And, I did all the things. I brushed my teeth and everything.
I know I didn't shave. Usually I shave on Fridays, but today I was like, nah.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? I want to say, working my morning job, I have learned that I'm old, bro. I'm old. It's crazy. And every single time that I realize that I'm old, it's crazy. It blows my mind. So here was the one of the moments, okay? So this lady, older lady, when I say older, right in between our age, yours and mine, right? Maybe closer to your age. But she said she comes and she orders a sandwich. And we're missing like 13 out of 15 sandwiches, okay? She orders one, and I was like, whew. You were basically playing Minesweeper there, and you picked, one of the ones that was safe, right? And then like later, I turned to a couple of the people I work with, and I was like, did you catch that reference? You know what Minesweeper is, right? And they were like, no, what's mine? All the people at work, they're like, no, what's Minesweeper? And I was like, Jesus. And then I was like, Zach, my manager, I was like, these kids don't know about Minesweeper, bro. They don't know about Minesweeper. Who doesn't know about Minesweeper?
Right.
Well, for all of our young people in the audience, back in the day when internet was dial-up, Minesweeper, Pinball, and like Solitaire were like the original games that you would get on your computer, and people would spend a lot of time playing them. There was like leaderboards and shit, which is crazy. That was like, the edge of tech, right?
And free cell. Don't forget about free cell.
Yeah, man.
The one where you're like getting rid of the cards or something like that. It's been a long time since I played it, but
Spider.
Yeah,
man. So that was another moment. The other moment was I said something about somebody said something about Nessie, the Loch Ness monster, because like Nessie was somebody's name, and then my boss was like, "Oh, like the Loch Ness monster," and then like 3 of the girls were like, "Isn't that a reference to Twilight?"
This is why we need to abolish the Department of Education, bro.
Yeah,
that's
the reason, right? It's not because, oh man. Anyways, sure. And that's one way to spin it. I would argue that perhaps we just need a better educational system in general, but also like it's not even really an education thing, because like how, you can't convey culture, right, to like past generations, because you have to be there, right? And like another thing I was talking about is like Charlie's Angels, right? Charlie's Angels was like the most raunchy, most over the top, like early 2000s movie that I feel like was like the moment that like, people weren't scared, so they were trying to be like edgy and out there, right? There might be
Charlie's Angels came out in the 70s, right?
But like the like I'm talking about the one with
not the Lucy Liu, Lucy Liu.
Lucy Liu. Yeah. And man, now I'm trying to think of her name. Why can't if it's not Halle Berry, right? It's
no. The only ones I can remember from that version is Lucy Liu and the chick from the chick from Firestarter.
That was what I was trying to do.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe I'm forgetting her name.
Yeah. Drew Barrymore. Yeah.
There we go. Drew Barrymore. Yeah.
Cameron Diaz, right?
Yeah.
Like, so that was a whole like era. And I was trying to explain, I was like, even if you haven't seen that movie, like that movie and oh my goodness, Austin Powers,
Yep.
right? Those were kind of like a whole genre generation of movies where like beforehand it was like super conservative what you could do or say on movies that was like socially acceptable for everybody to look at. There wasn't like edgy stuff. And then everything was just like fart jokes and getting hit in the balls for like a solid like 10 years. And that was
Jackass.
like,
Yeah.
anyways.
I get you. I mean, my generational, I guess, whatever cultural generation is a little older than that, but I understand what you're saying.
But I'm kind of saying, like, you know, like even that, like, I feel like for younger people, like the coming of age of the internet, I don't know. I feel like that was
a lot of stuff.
Biggest
Movies
thing.
stuck nowadays.
Yeah.
Because you got 50,000 TikTok channels and 100,000 YouTube channels, you know. But I understand it. I don't watch TV. All I watch is YouTube. You know what I watch? If I'm not have anything to do with crypto or anything like that, my like what do they call it? ASMR, that relaxing stuff, is watching construction videos on YouTube. I watch these guys called Perkins Builder Brothers, and they had like I just binged watched 91 videos on them building this mega mansion in North Carolina. And since now I'm done with that, or I'm to the point where the new videos are coming out, I'm watching a 50 video series about a modern mountain house.
Yeah. I will say I have noticed that the algorithm is really strong because like there's a lot of stuff that used to not get my attention. And then like now I'm just going through and I curated my timeline, right? Where it was like only crypto stuff, only tech stuff, only like science stuff, only like cool things that are interesting. And then every so often I see something jiggle and then I just like end up doom scrolling, right? To find out what it is. And it's just crazy because like I don't even get like I don't know, the thirst traps and stuff like that. I usually don't fall for them, but every so often, right? I just end up in the doom scroll and
if I need to research crypto on Twitter, I'm either on the Crypto Nightly account or the JPEG Empire account. Because as you can see, we were just going through on my account earlier, and it's nothing but like out of context videos and you know, fat chicks doing this and people taking dookies on cop cars and
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, man, absolutely. But thank you all for joining us. This is Crypto Nightly, where we bring you the daily news nightly. So we're going to hop into it. Let's see. First, let's go ahead and see what the market is looking like because I just think that some of the predictions that you shared with me are outrageous. But I also think that there have been some super interesting things that have been going on. Like I saw a tweet earlier today, like this was like early in the day where they were like, oh my gosh, Bitcoin dominance is above 64%. And I was mind blown because I remember thinking, like looking at the price and looking at things going on, and we were like, no way that Bitcoin's going to hit 60%, right? And
that was last year.
Yeah. And we were just looking at it and we were like, no way. Benjamin Cowan, like he's a smart guy that knows a lot about a lot of stuff, but I can't see him being right on this one. And then he was right. And then he just kept getting righter. So shout out to Benjamin Cowan. We do like him. We definitely respect his opinion. We respected it before, but it just sounded absolutely insane when he first said it. We were like, wow, you know, that's wild. But
that just goes to show you, even as long as we've been in crypto, you still get like, I don't want to say gaslit, but like blindsided by like, you know, your expectations of altcoins. There's like, nah, I can't. No, because Ethereum is going to be at 4,000 and Solana is going to be at 300. How can Bitcoin dominance hit freaking 64% unless it's at like 180,000. That's not going to happen. Well, it's at 64%. The problem is Solana's only at 150 and ETH is below 2,000.
Yeah.
1800-ish,
right?
Yeah. About 1,800. Yep.
Crazy. So. All right. So let's go look at what's going on in the market. And I don't know. Yeah, I guess we'll do the market watch and then we'll just do the Rare Evo one and then we'll stick like that.
That's fine. But let's go ahead and reset the room. Hey, everybody, do us a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe, and notification bell. If you're on X, tag some DGens, give us a repost. We go live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. PST now, bringing you the daily news nightly. And I hope it didn't screw up you guys about us going at 7 p.m. We've said it before, a lot of stuff going on right now. We had to bring it up a notch. So you guys on the East Coast, at least it's Friday night. At least most of you don't have to work tomorrow. So,
which reminds me, I need to respond to the message. We may or may not get a sponsorship for the channel, which would be really great. So
that would be awesome.
Let's get into it.
All right. Let's get the freshest data here. Boom. So we're coming in at $3.11 trillion, down 2.1%. Real low volume. It's Friday. It's expected. Coming in at 74 billion. Bitcoin dominance at 61.7. Ethereum at 7.11 and less than 1 GUI to send to each transaction. And you may be asking yourself, these two dudes just said Bitcoin dominance was at 64%. Now they're telling me it's at 61%. Or what's up with these people? Well, 64% on TradingView. That's the ticker. That's the key right there, on TradingView. And we're going to look at it. So, but on CoinGecko, we're at 61.7, which is still extremely high for CoinGecko.
Yeah, and CoinGecko, you have to understand that it has, what is it? It's like literally tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands.
Like 10,000 coins or something. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
More coins than what's on CoinMarketCap.
Yes, it does have a lot more coins than CoinMarket. It used to say, I don't see it though, but it used to say how many coins and how many exchanges and stuff like that. There's probably a tab I could click on, but yeah, CoinGecko definitely shows more coins than CoinMarketCap. It's harder to get on CoinMarketCap. All right, so let's take a look. Bitcoin coming in at 96,639, still above the SR level, which is good to see. Down 0.2%. Ethereum at 1831, down 0.6. Tether at $1, coming in flat. That's good to see. We got XRP at 221, down 0.4. BNB at 599, down 0.3. Solana at 148, down 1.3. And we got Doge at 1808, down 0.4. Cardano at 6948, down 2. Tron rounding out, the only one in the top 10 that's up, coming in at 2486, up 2.1%. And we got to find Sui coming in at 338, down almost 4% on the day. Let's see here. Biggest gainers, Kaspa. Kaspa is still 100% away from its all-time high, which was just set like 6 months ago. So if you believe in Kaspa, that's a good time to buy right there. It's 100% just to make it back to its local high, which is the all-time high. But it's up 7-8% today. We got Render up 3.7, Virtual's up 3.6, Tau up 3.2, Curve up 2.3, EOS up 2.1, Tron up 2.1, and so on. Not a whole lot of gainers. It turns red real quick, or flat and then red. So let's look at the biggest losers. Immutable. Apparently that pump yesterday was not sustainable. It is down 6.3% today. Athena's down 5.6. Story IP down 5.9. WorldCoin down 4.4. Celestia down 4.4. That's crazy with all the pumping that's been going on. And look at the 7 days on these coins. Athena 20%, WorldCoin 14 almost, Celestia 14. That's so crazy, right? The graph down 4, Fartcoin down 4, near down 3.8. Damn, near at 247. There is a lot of good buys
Dude,
right now.
Near is one that I was so bullish on, and then I stopped hearing anything about.
Right. Yeah, they don't have a lot of hype and a lot of marketing. You don't hear a near ETF.
No, we have.
know?
You're right.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe they hit their all-time highs already, or maybe they hit their highs for this cycle. Who knows? I doubt it, but if it's something you believe in, there are some killer deals going on right now. Stock market. Good day in the stock market.
Change the tab.
I do need to change the tab. That is correct, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'd hate to have gone through the whole spiel like usual.
Well, now I'm trying to get on it, right? Because I've just been like, oh, Desert's just talking about the market, not just the tab. I'm listening. You know what I mean? Great.
So the market did end pretty good today. The Dow Jones up 564 points, S&P up 82, NASDAQ up 266, the Russell K up 44, and the VIX is coming down. That is what we want to see. This is essentially the fear and greed index of, well, I guess it's different than the fear and greed index, but it is kind of like the fear and greed index of the stock market. The higher the number, the more scared traders are. They expect volatility. The lower the number, calmer market, steady as we go, good trading. That's how they gauge it. So I think it's the volatility index is what the VIX stands for. So one more thing real quick. So here is Factory or Forex Factory. If you guys don't know, this is a great site to check out upcoming events, and I check this every day, and you can see it's got all these upcoming events from around the world, and then they're color coded, like yellow, kind of like a nothing burger.
Change your screen again. Change the screen again.
I got it. I just got to start showing my whole thing, bro, because I got to get used to this. I got to get back in the rhythm of this. But like I was saying, forexfactory.com right here. This is a good site to know all the upcoming important events throughout the day and throughout the week to come. And the folders are color coded. So, yellow is like, orange is a little more, okay, hey, you might want to pay attention to this. And then you get into the red folders, and those have the most impact. So, and you can see, average hourly earnings month over month, forecast 0.3, actual 0.2, coming in under forecast. Non-farm employment change, 138, forecast 177 actual. And John and I were talking about this earlier, and he brought up a good point. He was like, didn't we just cover that at 62? And I was like, no, that's got to be something else.
Yeah, we looked at it 2 days ago.
Right. Yeah. So I went back. We were talking about it, and I went back, and that's ADP, non-farm unemployment change. So it's non-governmental and non-farm employment change. It's where this is just non-farm employment change. And I'm not exactly sure what the big differences in those are, except for the one says government. So does that mean, like, if we only had 62,000 non-farm, non-government, but this one says 177,000, does that mean we actually added 115,000 government jobs? Is that what that means? I don't know. Maybe somebody can tell me in the comments. I don't know. Because that's a big difference just for omitting the word government in the description. So I don't know. But unemployment rate stays the same at 4.2, and it looks like we're pretty flat. Look, previous 4.2, forecast 4.2, actual 4.2. Let's go to the graph real quick. Yeah, look at that. Unemployment's, staying nice and flat. It went up a little bit. So 23, 23.
non-farm payroll, which I can do, echoing me. Okay.
You can hear yourself echoing.
Yeah, I can still hear it. But it represents the total count of jobs in non-farm sector at a given time, often used as a snapshot of employment in the U.S. economy.
Right.
Let's see.
So what is ADP?
The key differences are the total number of non-farm jobs or the net change, non-farm employment change, specifically the net change in non-farm jobs. So like non-farm employment change is just the difference. Like how much has changed?
No, ask it. What's the difference between ADP, non-farm employment change, and non-farm employment change?
ADP, non-farm employment change, and non-farm employment. All right, let's see. It says it's two distinct economic indicators that measure change in U.S. employment, but they differ. So one of the biggest differences is sources and the provider. ADP non-farm employment change, the source is produced by the Automatic Data Processing Inc., a private payroll processing company in collaboration with Moody's Analytics. And then non-farm employment is released by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. So basically, it's the people that are providing the information, right? Actually, Which is interesting because I got my paycheck from one of my jobs and it comes from ADP. Well, like there's like my paycheck stub will come from ADP with one of my jobs. It doesn't come like that from Starbucks, but that's how the other one comes out.
So basically, it's like they're both fruit, but one's an apple, one's an orange.
More like
compare them, really.
Well, yeah. Well, like one is based on automatic information from Diego, and then the other one is from Santos, right? They just have
Diego and Santos, just two random dudes, or what?
Yeah, two random dudes. But one is the government, right? Santos might be the government one, and then the other one's just that other guy.
The other guy.
Yeah. So we learned. All right, so I got a whole bunch of stuff going on. Let's see how I want to do this. I actually want to not look at that. Let's go.
We want to run the B-roll.
We do want to run the B-roll. You're right. So, guys, let's just get into it. Join us at Rare Evo, the top blockchain conference, August 6th through 10th, 2025. At Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. The top blockchain projects like Algorand, Midnight, HBAR, ICP, Thorchain, and Igon, and many more are going to be there. This is definitely a must for blockchain enthusiasts and fans. Use discount code CryptoNightly to save on your tickets and to support the channel. Don't miss it. We can't wait to see you there. It's going to be a blast.
Boom.
All right. So this was the crazy data that I couldn't get over. But so this is a chart of a bunch of different massive institutions that have Bitcoin in their portfolio and what they think the 2025 price target for them is. Okay. So Standard Charter says 200,000, right? HC Wainwright says 225,000. Cena or 21st Capital says 135K to 285K. BlackRock, this is the one that really stands out, says 700K. And they say that this is because of a 2 to 5% institutional allocation, which backs that price prediction. Okay.
That is the devil we let in the door with ETFs.
Yes. And then we have Chamath. That guy. All right, he says 500,000, and he's saying because this is a monetary escape valve, which honestly, there's been a lot of interesting news around the government lately, specifically because a while ago we've been hearing for a long time some of these crazy Bitcoiners. We got Max Kaiser, we have Michael Saylor. Specifically, Michael Saylor said the first country that starts printing fiat to buy Bitcoin wins, right?
Yeah.
And we have people like Senator Cynthia Lummis, right, who has made awesome strides towards the Bitcoin Reserve Bill, as well as gotten Trump to come around about buying over 1 million Bitcoin, right? I think it was like 1 million Bitcoin a year, was it? Or something crazy?
No, it was 1 million Bitcoin, and it was like X amount per day until we reach 1 million Bitcoin.
Gotcha. So he's coming around to that, right? But I think that what Chamath and what BlackRock are kind of talking about and looking at is that if the US starts to do this, right, spend fiat to buy Bitcoin, I think there's going to be a Bitcoin arms race. So then that's the main situation where I could see a 500K or 700K, possibly higher, actually being within the realm of possibility. If we have these trade wars going on right now, they're just around tariffs, and the US just starts buying a whole bunch of Bitcoin and then doing trade with all these other countries in Bitcoin, this, that, and the other. And then China starts buying a bunch of Bitcoin, then the UK starts buying a bunch of Bitcoin, then all these people start buying a bunch of Bitcoin. It's going to push the price up, right? And so like that's kind of the only scenario where I see us hitting those crazy prices.
But is that going to happen in the next 7 months?
Dude, nobody thought tariffs would affect the economy as quickly and like as severely as they did. When like and who knows what could happen between now and then as far as like what will actually happen. I will say that people can have their different opinions about what's going on with this administration and how they've handled things, but what I will say that I think that everybody can agree on, that they have moved quickly. And a lot of things have happened.
It definitely moved quickly.
Okay.
It's definitely the move quickly and break stuff process for sure. I'll give you that.
What I'm saying is I could see something happening that is unprecedented this time, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if something crazy happened. I think there's a lot of people talking about recession. I saw someone somewhere talking about how Trump says the numbers are good now, so like rate cuts are around the corner, that he's going to make them happen, even though he's not the guy that makes them happen. But try telling him that,
Right.
So
I want a little more clarity on that Van Eck. So Van Eck says 180K with retrace. Does that mean we're going to peak at 180K and then retrace? Because that makes sense. Or are we going to peak and then retrace to 180K?
Yeah, I could see this, what they're saying there. We could hit 180K, then get the retrace because it's before 200K. And this would make, if they're saying their core thesis is institutional roadmap, right? Because a lot of the institutions want to de-risk at that price, right? They've been buying at these prices. And for these institutions, making 3% on $1 billion is a lot of money. But now making over 100%, that's a lot of money for them on $1 billion, So I think that these are definitely interesting core theses that are laid out here. And this 10x research, 122,000 technical rally is interesting. And then the GFO X survey, 150K for the sentiment index. I do think that these are kind of like, this was what I was thinking before. I feel like now I'm a little bit affected about how the market has gone, and I can see these like 200s. I feel like they're kind of in the cards. But I will say that I feel like the 500 and 700K, those are like way out of my vision right now. Like I can't anticipate us getting anywhere close to those. But if we did, you know, I will say the economic situation is not going to be the most beautiful for everybody in the United States. Okay, so these are not necessarily good things that we're shooting for, but you know,
yeah, Bitcoin will be 700,000 and a loaf of bread will cost you $50.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
we're like Venezuela over here, okay?
Right.
Anyways, so I think that this is awesome. Coinbase CEO, of course, he's going to say this, right? Because his whole business is around this. But he says crypto is going to eat most of financial services. And I agree. I think why would you pay a middleman when you can pay a small fee on a smart contract, right? To do the same thing, whatever it is that you're trying to do. And I'm saying for escrow, for literally anything. And do you remember yesterday when we were talking about XRP and Ripple attempting to acquire Circle?
Mm-hmm.
And they got rejected for $5 billion.
Yeah.
So here we go. Look at this. Just in, Ripple rumored to raise Circle takeover bid to $20 billion after initial $5 billion offer rejected.
Well, that's a hell of a jump, bro.
That's a 4x.
You know?
That's 4x. But at the same time, okay, you have to think about, which I'm going to actually like see if I can get a number. Fees and profit of Tether and Circle. Let's see if I can get these numbers. Tether reported a gross profit of $13 billion. Let's see which year this was. While Circle reported 156 million. Let's see what years that this were. Okay, Circle has a net income of 155 million. I'll share this. While Tether reported 13 billion in profit in 2024. USDT has only 3x the supply of USDC. So what explains the discrepancy? That's really definitely interesting. But the point that I'm trying to make here is Circle and Tether both are making a boatload of money, right?
Yeah.
Of profit on fees. So like 20 billion is kind of like, I mean, yeah, 20 billion, it makes sense to me because you're taking over this company that's going to continue generating income, right? So it's not like they're going to start losing money. So this is pretty crazy. I think that this is bullish for Ripple, but also I think that this is going to be the massive marriage that is going to be crazy. I recently read an article, which I might have here as well. Well, I don't see it here, but they basically said that Circle just created a solution for merchants that accept USDC to pay back refunds without actually having to do the know your customer thing. So any anonymous person can buy something with USDC, and then if they need a refund, they can get refunded right back USDC to the same wallet, right?
Right.
So that's pretty bullish. Trump says there's no inflation and calls on the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates. This happened 13 hours ago. Gasoline just broke $1.98 a gallon, lowest in years. Groceries and eggs down, energy down, mortgage rates down, employment strong, and much more good news as billions of dollars pour in from tariffs. Just like I said, we're only in a transition stage, just getting started. Consumers have been waiting for years to see prices coming down. No inflation. The Fed should lower its rate.
At least he didn't use he instead of using transitory, he used transition stage.
That's true. That's true. He did use inventory.
And I don't know about eggs being down because I went to the store last weekend and I think I still paid like $8 for a carton of eggs. So, I mean, they were organic eggs, but still, I think regular eggs were still like $5 or $6.
Yeah. 100%. I'm trying to see if I can get the cost of eggs here where I'm at.
And gas, I don't know where he's at. He must be in an oil pumping state or an oil manufacturing state, something like that. Because it ain't $1.98 in Arizona, I'll tell you that much. Maybe in Texas or Oklahoma.
I was going to say he's probably in Venezuela where they give the the gas away.
Where it's
for
like a nickel a gallon.
Yeah, because that's crazy. But I don't know about you guys. I don't know what you all have experienced. I will say my groceries are not down. My energy is not down. Employment, who knows? I think the numbers are cooked. But all of this to say that none of that he says right there really matters. What matters is he's calling on interest rate drops.
Right.
And so this is really bullish for the market if it happens. But this is not bullish. This is actually probably the least bullish thing. Jim Cramer says there will be no recession. So everybody that knows the Jim Cramer effect, he's basically guaranteeing a recession. Go ahead and sell all your things, buy gold so you can take it with you, and then maybe barter with somebody for shekels or food. You know what I'm saying? Rough situation. And then this is interesting. FinCEN names Huan Group a major money laundering threat tied to the $4 billion in crypto scams and North Korean heists. So this company is related to laundering money for North Korea. And then so here it is. Ash Crypto says Fed will cut rates in May or June. Crazy. And then Ivy League, Brown University has disclosed they purchased $4.9 million worth of BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF in March. Brown University, shout out to those university goers at Brown, the professors, the teachers, you know. And this, Tether plans to launch a US-based stablecoin this year as CEO Ardonio builds ties with the Washington amid crypto-friendly shift under the Trump administration.
See, why? See, now that makes me nervous about Tether. Because why do you have to launch a US-based stable coin when you can just get like Tether accepted by the US government?
Oh, because you will only get like, you know what I mean? Trump is very much like, has to be made in America, has to be made in America. So I think that's his play here. He's going to be like, look, I made this in America. Let's get it all over the place. You know?
So is it going to be like USDTA?
Maybe.
Yeah.
USDT MAGA.
I see some commingling in the future.
Yeah, I'm sure. Absolutely. And then we have this just in. Michael Saylor's strategy announces Bitcoin yield of 13.7%. A yield on the Bitcoin that they had, and a gain of 5.8 billion year to date. Pretty crazy. Look at that face.
Yeah. That's the face that launched 1 million sats.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that this is actually the most scary thing. So everybody out there that's in the EU, the EU is set to ban anonymous cryptocurrencies by 2027 under a new AML rule. They also want to block your ability to purchase crypto with credit cards or to take loans to buy crypto or to invest in crypto.
That I agree with. You should never take out a loan to buy crypto. Just saying.
I think that America, freedom.
Well, yeah, no, you do what you want, But I strongly advise against, and I understand, that's how the rich stay rich and get richer is by, leveraging their assets to loan to buy, more investments and then pay it back and tax cuts and blah, 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 blah. I understand that. But the average person, don't go max out your credit cards and get a loan to buy crypto. Because as you can see, we thought we were in the middle of a bull run and it just took a dump on us. So if you'd had bought 5 months ago, you would be way underwater right now.
Yep.
So
it's true.
You never know.
And then here we go.
Pleased with President Trump's support of my strategic Bitcoin reserve initiative, which will address our national debt while securing America's position as the global leader in financial innovation. As Bitcoin comes into more usage, its use makes the whole system more secure, more robust, and more capable of serving our needs all over the world. We should be the global leader with this fantastic new ledger-based asset that is in a digital format that is going to be transformative of everyday economy and puts the everyday American, in fact, the everyday worker all over the world in control of their own money.
All right, so we're not going to watch the next 10 seconds just because I don't have the patience to listen to her anymore. But, yeah, and then here's this: UK to ban retail investors from borrowing money to buy crypto under FCA rules targeting digital assets. But what this actually means is that you can't use credit cards to buy crypto.
Right.
And Watch a Guru says China offers to address U.S. fentanyl concerns to revive trade talks. Also, what do you think about this? 3 billion in Bitcoin short set for liquidation if Bitcoin hits 100K. You think we're hitting 100K?
It's freaking possible. It is really possible.
But
5, 4, 3, 3.
That's what I got.
I don't think we're gonna. If we do hit 100, we're gonna just tap it, get rejected. But we hit over 97 today. Was it today or yesterday? We're going to take a look. Hold on. I don't know how I did it, but I friggin' signed out of the YouTube account.
That's crazy.
And now it's making me go through, want me to add phone numbers and home addresses and stuff like that. Like, nah, I don't think so.
Numbers, seed phrases.
Right. I don't think so. But yeah, we could hit 100K. This month we could hit 100K for sure. But I still think we're going back down, and we're going to look at the chart here in a second. It's not going to sustain. I still believe in maybe not sell in May, walk away, sell at the end of May, or sell at the beginning of June. I still think the summer, I can't think of a summer we've had that wasn't a big dip. Not since I've been in crypto. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Except for the bottom of the bear market. Would we bottom out in like June of 22 or something like that and started to make our way up, but still it was a long trudge. It's not like we were pumping through the summer or anything like that. We just bottomed out. So I don't know. What do you think? You think it's going to hit?
By the end of the month, I could see it.
Yeah. And I think they'll deleverage before then, though, also.
Maybe.
Or add to their position. That's what most institutions don't get liquidated. Most big boys don't get liquidated.
Yeah. Most of them don't, but traders do.
Traders do, for sure. For sure.
Stop losses and stuff, and then price moves up when you don't expect it,
Yeah. Go to sleep, forget to set a SL, and you're like, uh-oh.
Yeah. Absolutely. So that's what I got. That is it. I think I covered a little bit too much. I have so many other things that I could still go on about, but
no, this is perfect because it's Friday night. we're just going to go through Bitcoin real quick, go through Bitcoin dominance, and we will call it a night, sir.
Excellent. And I'll go to sleep, and then I'll wake up nice and early at around 3:45 to have my coffee, and then let my dogs out, and then get on my way to work to drink more coffee.
No work tomorrow for me, but I still sleeping in for me is like 6 o'clock. So, you know,
Come by Starbucks.
no, I don't go to Starbucks. Spending $12 on some foo crap. The last time I had Starbucks was when we were at Rare Evo, and that's because Starbucks was at the bottom of the elevator from my motel room.
I will say there's some things that they got that are bangers. Okay, so anybody out there, get the oat milk brown sugar shaken espresso. You know that.
I do like the what is it, the caramel mocha frap.
Oh yeah.
But then I realized there's no caffeine in it.
Yeah, you got to get some shots in there.
You gotta get a shot of espresso on that bad boy, and then white chocolate.
Yeah,
white the chocolate. Cold brew.
Oh, no, there's like a vanilla sweet cream cold brew though. That's good.
Maybe that's what I thought it was. White chocolate cold. Maybe I just had them put it on ice. I don't remember.
Yeah,
but I don't go to Starbucks. I drink Folgers, bro.
No, I feel you.
That's all I need. A couple cups of Folgers, and I'm ready to rock.
Let's get it. All right, so let's check out what Bitcoin's doing, and then after that, we will call it a night.
All right, let's do it. Are we? Oh, we're not running an ad, huh? We're not running a boom. There we go. Right to it then. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Boom. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. So we're talking yesterday. You know, can we get over 96.5, the SR level? Yes, we did print a candle above it today. We're currently printing a red candle, but it is Friday night. And as you can see, we are still super overbought. It actually turned and started going back to the upside. RSI is extremely overbought. So this is one of the main reasons why I'm expecting us to come back down. I mean, but 100,000, it's only like, what is that, like, I don't know, like 1% away, 0.5% away. What is that? %? So we only need a 3% move to hit 100,000. It's possible, but I still expect us to come back down. We are very gapped from the 21, even though it is crossing the 200. I expect it to come back down and touch this before we get that next bounce. Let's go to the 4-hour. Yeah, 4-hour is looking a little weak. Stokes are pointing down. RSI is pointing down. It's broken down through the median line. The Stokes have a nice sharp downward trajectory right there. And as soon as we lose, we're like right on it. So we'll probably lose it this weekend, 96.5. And then we might come back down here to the point of control. If the 21 doesn't hold, come back down here to like 93, which is going to be our POC right there. It's going to be the biggest volume node right here. We do have this little one at 94 and some change. But I can see it's definitely coming back down to like 93. Let's look at the Bitcoin dominance. So this is what we were talking about. Let's go to the daily. Boom. Bring it in. So we're at 64.8. And you can see we haven't been this high since way back here. And what is that? February of 21. So over 4 years, you know, we haven't been this high. And if we go to the weekly, we were looking at this earlier on the weekly. This says that Bitcoin is definitely the dominance is definitely overbought on the weekly. Now, granted, this is the weekly. This could take, you know, 3-4 months to start to roll over, but we are overbought. Even the RSI is overbought. Actually, a little bit of a bearish div. No, those are about even, right? Let's see here. Little slight bearish div on on the weekly RSI, because you got movement to the upside and you're flat right there, right? So a little bit of a bearish div, but this is going to take a while to play out. And Bitcoin dominance goes down, altcoins go up. That's how it works. It doesn't mean that it's going to go parabolic, because Bitcoin could just go down faster than altcoins, then dominant. That means dominance would still go down also, because altcoins would hold their. But we want to see it break down. So when we come down to the daily, we are still in the upward trajectory on the daily. It peaked out here, and what's that, about a week and a half ago? So on Wednesday last week, it peaked out. We had that dip, and then it went back up. The stochastics, that is. But your RSI is definitely been bouncing in this overbought range, and it can't keep going up. I'm expecting us to get a nice dip in dominance, and then we're going to start to see altcoins run again. So there could be an upcoming altcoin season, probably only going to last a few weeks, because it doesn't change my opinion that we are going to be going down by the end of May. Let's look at the 4-hour. 4-hour dominance shows us coming down a little bit. RSI is pointed down, so we could technically be getting ready for the downward trajectory of the dominance, and then that would allow altcoins to start to pump a little bit. So that's what I have on that. Let's take a look at SWE, because we looked at this yesterday. I was saying if we lose this 348, that's when you're going to want to short with a stop loss on the other side. We did lose it, but I think we're going to get ready to retest that same, because the Stokes have been reset. RSI is nice and low, starting to curve to the upside. It is in bearish territory, but it is pointed to the upside, and our Stokes have reset. And you can see we rode it down here for a while, and then boom, had that big spike. That's our pump up right there on the 4-hour. So it might be sideways action for like a day or so, and then we get the Stokes to come back up, and we retest this 348. And if we break that 348, so if the Stokes are still pointing up, we break the 348, we get a bullish cross on the 21 curving back above the 50. That would be a nice long position with the target at 378, just playing this range right here, because you can see, boom, we break through, touch, fall back down, break through, touch, fall back down, break through, boom. So you can see we're just kind of in this like Bart Simpson-ish pattern, unless Bitcoin breaks down and this does turn into a true Bart Simpson, and we end up going bump, 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 boom, which is a possibility. Which is definitely a possibility. It all depends on what Bitcoin's doing. Everything's just a little shaky right now. Who knows? Trump could come out of a freaking Diet Coke induced binge at 2:00 in the morning on Sunday and say, screw China, 120% tariffs, and the whole market collapses. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's so hard.
Or he can come out and say the exact opposite. President Xi is my friend. We've come up to an agreement. And then President Xi's like, we never talked.
Right. So that similar scenario happened, about a month and a half ago, when Cardano, Solana, and whoever else, in the strategic reserve. And that Sunday, everything just pumped to the moon. And then Monday, a little clarification came out. What happened? The whole freaking thing crashed. So I don't know. But it's always a good time to buy DCA. And that's all I got tonight.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is Crypto Nightly. We come to you nightly now, Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. We bring you the daily news nightly, and we appreciate you guys for hanging out This has been a really great show. We took our little hiatus and we're back now. But we appreciate you guys. So
Yeah. Make sure you go touch grass this weekend.
Yes. Enjoy. Peace out. Join us at Rare Evo, the top blockchain conference, August 6th through 10th, 2025, at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. The top blockchain projects like Algorand, Midnight, HBAR, ICP, Thorchain, and Igon, and many more are going to be there. This is definitely a must for blockchain enthusiasts and fans. Use discount code CryptoNightly to save on your tickets and to support the channel. Don't miss it. We can't wait to see you there. It's going to be a blast.